Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Jordan, and I'm here to teach you tips and tricks that I think will make your life better on planet Earth. So today's video came highly requested by a lot of my friends and also a lot of my clients because, hi kitty. Bye kitty. A lot of you have asked me what I did to go from not being able to afford my rent, multiple times being homeless, multiple things that happened in my life where I really was financially unstable. And I think that a lot of us go through this, especially if you listen to any documented history of a millionaire or billionaire. A lot of them will talk about losing everything. Especially during coronavirus, what a perfect time for us to all start looking at our money energy and figure out what we can do better moving forward and re-entering back into the world. Also, if you see my cat wandering around, it's because she's very curious. Kitty, kitty, no, get down. Come here, come here. Okay, so this is my money bowl. I've had the same one since 2016. So at the end of 2016, I was living in Chandler at a friend's house. My rent was about $400. You've probably heard me talk about the time I couldn't afford $400 rent. Well, that was at the end of 2016. So I had moved here with some savings, and just through not picking the right job and some poor choices on my part, I ended up not having a place to live. And my friend was fortunate enough to take me in. So I went and I worked with a mentor, a spiritual mentor, and she taught me about something called a money bowl. So I'm going to teach you about my money bowl and tell you how it literally is one of the biggest tools I used besides the 2-cup method, which I made a video about a week ago, and I will tag that in the description. But the 2-cup method is something that I used, and also my money bowl. So if you were over here with me and you were to look in here, you would see I have $1 bills, I have coins, I have $1 million bills that I got on Amazon. Really easy. I actually have carried $1 million bills for a long time. I definitely recommend getting yourself some and put them in your wallet, put it in your friends' wallets. If you're in the beauty industry like me, I tape them underneath the bed. I used to, at least. And also, it's really, really cool, like just the energy of having this big bowl of money, even though a lot of it's, $1 and we could barely afford a dinner of sushi with what I have in here. There's not a ton of money in here, maybe $30. And I've put some little things. There was this little bottle cap when I opened my salon, and it says, hold please. And it says, your journey starts now. And I actually found it the day I opened my salon. So I put that in there, really good energy. This little stone, this little amethyst stone that I've had for a long time. And all of my coins. I also have some affirmations about myself, things that I'm working on. I release body shaming is something that I threw in there just for the crystal energy and everything else. I feel like for me, body shaming is something that really affected my money energy because I didn't want to be known. I didn't want to be famous. I didn't want to be seen for a lot of my life because I was overweight. And it was something I struggled with very, very heavily until I made some different choices in my diet and the things that I was consuming. And now I've been about the same weight for the better part of a decade, but it was something that I used to really go through. Whatever you think that's in the way of your money energy, maybe don't include it in the bowl. It's just something that really, really helps me just to kind of put it on paper. And now that I've learned a little bit more about manifesting, I'd probably put something along the lines of, I love my body all day, every day. Something that's more positive, maybe not so heavy and negative like this one is. But we all have to learn, right? So moving on. So the reason that this works so incredibly well is because whether you know it or not, your body and your senses are constantly picking up on the environment around you. It's picking up on smells, it's picking up on sight. Your peripheral is always working whether you recognize it or not. So by having this bowl of money, you're just seeing money. Your subconscious mind in your house is seeing dollar bills. Every time you walk past this money bowl, your body, your mind is going to see dollar bills. It doesn't know how much it is. It just says money. There's a bunch of money. There's a bunch of money. And it starts to prime that subconscious loop. So you actually are starting to believe that you always see money. When I fully started to embrace my spiritual path, whatever that means, I was probably about 21. And my roommate at the time, she got me to watch The Secret. If for those of you who have watched The Secret, you'll know it's honestly pretty awesome. It did totally change my mindset. And even if there is some things that need to be elaborated on further so that they're more applicable to the real world, it's one of my favorite things that I ever came across because it was the beginning of my awakening and the beginning of my spiritual shift here. So one of the things you'll notice if you have seen that video, you'll already know what I'm talking about, is the author of Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul. He was very, very poor, and he took a $1 bill and he added a bunch of zeros to it and he hung it on the ceiling above his bed, and he would look at it and he would imagine that money as his in his bank account. And you will hear many, many accounts of stories like this, myself included. A lot of my friends and colleagues, a lot of my mentors have stories like this, just amazing financial shifts that occurred once they started doing things like having money bowls or doing gratitude journals or doing the 2-cup method, as we talked about a little bit earlier. If you want to learn more about the law of attraction and you just want a simple book that will never get old, that you could read 10 times and learn something every single time, I would recommend getting Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I personally like it better to actually read, so I have it on my Kindle. If you don't know, a Kindle's a little electronic ebook. I'm a big fan. I feel like I can blow through books a lot faster when I read them like that than an actual hard print. But if you like paperback, go for it, girl. You do you. I'm not a huge fan of the Audible, the audiobook, just because I feel like it's a little slower and it's harder to get into. And I feel like there's something about reading it that almost integrates the energy into your body. You're able to stop and pause and reread sentences, and just know that the act of reading that book, even if you don't absorb it all, just the act of reading it is changing your frequency and your vibration, because you're sitting down and you're saying, I'm going to change my money energy. I'm going to have more wealth and abundance. I'm going to have more prosperity. So how do you do a money bowl? What are the steps to having one? So first of all, and this is going to be really hard for those of you watching this in the future, we're all currently going through coronavirus. So shopping is kind of hard right now, and it's hard to get the normal things that we would usually need. However, you will need a big, beautiful bowl. So I left my house with the intention I'm going to find my money bowl, and this bowl I love. If I ever lost it, I would be heartbroken. It is intricate, it is beautiful, it is all of my favorite things about planet Earth. It's sparkly, I love it. So you need to find something that you feel that way about. You will know what one it is. I also put the selenite crystal in the center. So selenite is a crystal that's known for attracting wealth, abundance, and prosperity. The one thing about selenite, though, it is easy to find and it's not extremely expensive, but don't get it wet. And you will also need to note that it absorbs energies and frequencies really easily. So it needs to be cleared once a month in the moonlight, and that will keep it super high vibe. Okay, so here's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna take a $20 bill. You're gonna go get $21. You're going to put them all in your bowl. When you leave your house the next day, you're gonna take $5 or $6 out and you're gonna go buy something with it. And then throughout the day, you're going to find money, get change somewhere else out in your universe. So when you come back into your house, you're gonna put money back in the bowl. So you're taking from the bowl and spending. Why do we wanna spend from our money bowl? Don't we wanna hoard it? No. So that's one of the things I've noticed, people having terrible money energy. They hoard their money. And I agree that it is important to be frugal and to be safe. It's important to have healthy boundaries with money and not just go crazy, and keep yourself in a obviously financially stable place as much as you can. But you do have to spend money. When you hoard it, you send out this energy of scarcity and lack, and you send out this energy of, I don't have enough, I must hold this, I must hold it so tight, and it really constricts the flow. So we're gonna take money, we're gonna spend money. As we spend that money, we are grateful. We are spending it on our favorite coffee or on our favorite bagel or on a present for someone, who knows, but spend the money and make sure you put money back in. So for a while I'd put a 20 or a 5, or I'd put a bunch of money and I go, thank you universe, thank you universe, thank you universe, thank you universe, thank you universe. And then this is where I would start to do affirmations. So when I put money back in, I might say something like, money follows me in everything that I do. Everything that I touch turns to gold. I have more than enough money for everything that I need. These are affirmations that you can say as you're putting the money back in if you're not really comfortable with the thank you universe or thank you God thing. I feel like this is also a very personal thing, so make it work for you. If it feels weird as something that you're saying, don't say it. You don't have to do what I do. Just make it your own. Okay, so now I'm gonna move this and we're gonna talk a little bit about money energy in general. Just a couple tips and tricks that I want to share with you before we end the video. So one of the biggest things that I learned, and it was probably about 4 years ago that I learned it from Marie Forleo. She's an amazing entrepreneur, woman, business coach. I love her. Her energy is amazing. Go check her out on YouTube as well. She's incredible. But she talks about respecting your money. So what does respecting your money look like? One of the biggest things she talks about, and I used to be a bartender, so it was something that I employed every single day because I always had a lot of cash, and it was organize your bills, have them all facing the same way, respect your money. So keep it organized. Don't throw it, crumple it, toss it in a bag. Respect it. Keep your change. I used to throw change away. I think about that now and it makes me cringe. Oh my God. I cannot believe that I would throw coins away because I didn't want to deal with them. And I'm sure you guys have done that too. So don't do that. Put them in your money bowl. But one of the other things she said that has stuck with me forever and ever and has made a huge impact in my financial abundance, I think, is every coin that I see, I pick it up off the ground. So I started out with pennies or dimes or quarters, and I'll always pick it up and I go, thanks, universe. I see you, universe. Thank you, universe. Obviously with Corona right now, I understand that this is something that we probably will time out or put a pin in until the world gets a little more back to normal. But in the future, just keep in mind, if there's a coin on the ground, it's almost like the universe saying, here you go, free money. Yes, please. Thank you. Keep going. You're just confirming, you're priming that wheel of prosperity. This is going to sound crazy, but I now find 10s, 20s. I found a $50 bill in my parking lot the other day. So this is something that seriously, seriously works. I'm constantly finding money, or I'm constantly having these experiences happen to me. And I work in a business that is based specifically on people scheduling with me. And when people cancel, I try really hard to just keep an open mind. Like I was supposed to do something during that time anyways. And it's little tricks and tips like this that are really going to move the needle forward on you being super prosperous in your life. If someone cancels, the universe is moving them out of your way, or maybe that wouldn't have gone very well and the universe is on your side. So one of the things I've started to do too is with money energy, I understand that even when things appear to be lack, like getting fired, sometimes these things have to happen so you can get to the next level. So just try as hard as it is. I know it's so hard right now and we're all struggling financially and it is such a scary time. So I don't want to downplay the level of fear that we all have. But keep in mind, when I started this bowl, I didn't know how I was going to make it. I couldn't afford my $400 rent. And that's a reality that I can't lie about. I mean, I definitely had some pretty terrible money energy for a long time. So let's talk about what makes someone's money energy stuck or stagnant. One of the things we talked about earlier, obviously hoarding your money, sitting on it, not spending it, feeling like you don't have enough. That's a very, very big one that I see. Remember, quantum physics says 17 seconds of dedicated thought plus emotion starts to move energy towards us. So it takes just as much energy and time to envision yourself with $1, $10, $1,000 as it does to envision yourself with $1 million. There is a ceiling that most people sit at. And this ceiling, this financial ceiling, is their body's cap on how wealthy they think they are and should be and deserve to be according to a whole host of belief systems. So if you're really struggling with money energy, I recommend getting a coach or hiring somebody who really understands manifesting and the law of attraction and financial abundance, because we can listen to you talk about these certain things or the way you feel about your life, and we can hear these patterns that you're repeatedly putting out, and it's like red ink that you're spewing about how much money you think that you deserve. So I used to think that there's never, ever, 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 ever going to be a way for me to make $1,000 a week. That was something that I could never fathom when I was younger. And so one of the exercises that I have my clients do, or people that I work with for the law of attraction, is I'll send them into a meditative state and I'll have them imagine their bank account have $500 in it. So their bank account has 500. And then I'll say, now it has 1,000. Now it has 5,000. Okay, now it has 8,000. Now it has 15,000. And there is a number, probably way lower than 15,000, where you get uncomfortable and you'll feel your body go, ooh, I don't know. That seems like a lot. I don't know if I could do that. That seems a little out of the scope of what I'm capable of. That is your step one. So these are things that we naturally are going to do because subconsciously we haven't healed our belief systems about what we deserve. A lot of our money belief systems, unfortunately, they come from our parents before the age of 6. So a lot of what we believe about wealth and abundance comes from our parents. Unfortunately, our parents and that generation, they didn't have the knowledge of the manifesting and the law of attraction like we do now. So take a look at that. Do you feel like there was always enough? Do you feel like your parents fought about money? Do you feel like your parents spent money like crazy and then ended up in a financially dire situation? And therefore, maybe you are a little more frugal because now you're scared. So these are things that are really, really important. So your money ceiling and your parents' beliefs about money, sometimes those are the two things that you need to fix. And then boom, you are abundant. There are also meditations you can do where you imagine yourself meditating, close your eyes, rain money down on me, baby. Like just imagine just funnels flooding money, dollar bills everywhere. It really, really helps. I think some of the biggest things that I've ever manifested in my life came after those exercises, and it's almost scary because you don't even believe it. And then it happens and then you're mind blown. And it only takes one time for this to happen to you and you will be subscribed for life. All right, guys, that's all that I have for you today. If you'd like to schedule a session with me to talk about your money energy, shoot me a message, or you can find me at Brittany Beauty on Instagram. You can also go over to my website, arizonabeautycode.com, and schedule a coaching session with me there as well. I love you guys. Thank you for following along my journey, and send me some video ideas. What do you guys want to see? And comment below if this helped you or if you've ever seen anything like this, or maybe if you have some tips and tricks on how we could have made it better. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day.